Hello and welcome to my channel, The Atheist Corner. First off, I'm JB, and yes, as you've probably already figured out, I'm an atheist. Call me a godless creature if you will, that's fine. I take no issue with that. It is, after all, the truth. Just because I don't believe in the existence of a God, however, does not make me an evil person. I live by my own rules, not by those of a holy book. I know the difference between right and wrong. I don't need a Bible to tell me these things. I am all about peaceful living, helping my fellow man, being a productive member of society, and in a larger sense, one day leaving the world a better place than when I entered it. Just because I don't believe in God, that does not make me a bad person. I'm a loyal husband, father, son, uncle, brother, employee, and I enjoy a great and fully satisfying life that has enabled me to provide for my family beyond anything I could have hoped for. To start, you'll notice I don't consider myself agnostic. There's a difference between an atheist person and one who is agnostic. An agnostic person is essentially on the fence. They can't prove the existence of a God, nor can they disprove it, so they are essentially camping out in the middle, saying maybe or maybe not. With me, there's no fence. There's no middle ground. There's just my firm belief, based on the support of actual science and evidence, that there is no God. The funny thing is, I was raised in a multi-faith household. I had a Hindu father, a Muslim mother, and being born and raised in the city of Boston, Catholic was pretty much the thing for me to be. Talk about confused. It's no wonder that I grew up from a very young age questioning everything about religion, but again, religion, whichever one I chose, was the way to go, and anything else was simply frowned upon. I went along for many years just to keep my parents happy. I went along with it for so long just so I wouldn't have to feel like an outcast among my friends. I went along with it for so long just so I wouldn't have to answer the questions that were bound to come from being different. So you might ask, why would you start a channel like this, JB, knowing the feathers you might ruffle or the people who might be upset with your views? Well, folks, the point of starting this channel was not to offend anyone. The point of starting this channel was for me to launch a series of videos around 5 minutes in length or less, so that others out there like me can come to a place where we can relate to one another. Let's face it, the world is full of people who look down on us because we don't necessarily see the world through their eyes, or share their views, or express their same beliefs. You see, I envision a kid out there, much like myself some time ago, who might be a bit confused. A kid who's being raised in a religious household, yet goes out into the real world and sees that so much of life happens contrary to what religion would have us believe. This kid might be trying to explore a life outside of the religious establishment. And all I hope to do is show this kid that he or she are not alone. Others of us are out there. Free thinkers who refuse to be bound by the chains of a fictitious book, be it the Bible, Quran, Torah, whatever the case. These videos aren't being created to bash the believers, but merely state our case so that we too can be heard. Sure, I may say some things that the religious establishment might not like or even take offense to, but that's not my intention. I'm not saying these things that I say from a place of malice or ill will. I say them because they happen to be based in truth and reality, and that's what I wish to share. I welcome intellectual discussion via the comment section from anyone with any view, but I won't tolerate hateful comments which serve no purpose other than to provoke fights. And while I'll allow comments from any viewpoint, any inappropriate comments will not get my approval for posting. I will be screening those to eliminate the garbage posts that are bound to show up. The fact is, I don't want my videos to be used as the basis for any kind of hate mongering or things along those lines. I know my views and opinions might not be very popular with some, but I want you to know one thing. We are growing. The world of atheists is beginning a bit of a rapid expansion. Science has debunked so much of the nonsense in the various holy books that, quite frankly, the younger generation are coming up now smarter, more informed, questioning religion, and things like logic, reason, and science are beginning to take hold. I know it's not going to happen overnight, and definitely not in my lifetime, but it will happen. Mark my word, the day will come when we actually outnumber the religious believers. Now, I've heard all the arguments from the religious folk that, well, if you can't disprove the existence of a God, how do you really know he doesn't exist? You don't see air or gravity, but we all know that they both exist. Well, the fundamental flaw with those types of arguments is that science can prove the existence of both air and gravity, and the test results are documentable, repeatable. We can, through science, show again and again that gravity does exist, and can predict how bodies behave in the presence of gravity, and since the days of space travel and innovations related to it, we can also predict how bodies behave when it's not present. So the truth is, we're really talking apples and oranges when people try to make such silly comparisons. Now look, I'm not here to try to take religion away from people. That's not my goal. If you seek to find others with similar views or just care to explore something a bit outside the box, then please, come on in. Let's spend a little time together through these videos. The truth is, atheism is not for everyone. Not everyone can stand the crooked looks from the doubters. Not everyone is comfortable going against the grain. Not everyone is ready to accept the truth over what they've been raised to believe all their lives. And I understand that. For many others, their religion is something that gives them hope, something to hold on to. That is very real to them, even if it isn't to us. Case in point, I lost a family member a few years back, and I had to watch as his parents went through the most painful nightmare I can imagine for a parent, which is burying a child. During this time, they were, as you can imagine, very distraught. There really was not much you could say to console them, but in time they found comfort in religion. They found comfort in a belief that he was in a better place, waiting for them to reunite one day. This brought them peace, it kept them sane, it allowed them to move on. I may not share the same views that they have about where we all end up one day, but I would never take that from them. I have no right to take that from anyone. None of us do. And shame on anyone who would try. You won't find me doing things like posting rants on Facebook just to spark fires. I wish I could say the same for some of my Bible-thumping friends who feel the need to always shove their views down our throats, but I'm not like that. They might feel that they're doing God's work, so I get that, and I humor them, but I don't start fights. I go along, I get along, but I know in the end what I believe, and I stay true to that. It doesn't make me any better or worse of a person than anyone else. It just makes me another person with my own views, so I choose to live and let live. To each his own. And that really is the one thing I want you to walk away from in this introductory video for Atheist Corner. If you're an atheist or just exploring atheism a bit, do your own research, come to your own conclusions, and be good to one another. Until next time.